Should be pretty quick, I think. The thing I wanted to state early is, as I mentioned to you, Justin, I want to move the MBTA article after the budget stuff, so earlier in the meeting, just because I think it's worthy of the kind of debate we get from a fresher crowd there. And I don't actually think that it's going to be as controversial as it is in other communities, but I think it deserves a more prominent place. So,
Agreed.
So we can talk about which, as we go through this, where we put it there, but that would be my goal. Okay. So Article 2, nothing there, huh?
Nothing so far.
Okay. Article 3.
We'll have budget transfers. Advisory will have them before their meeting, before town meeting, and they'll vote on it at their meeting before town meeting.
Okay.
We'll also put that list on the screen at town meeting.
So we have a motion forthcoming still. Do we know what sources would be for that?
Yeah, it'll be free cash.
Okay. All right. So we're still in just majority territory.
Yep.
For
Did we finish the collective bargaining agreements?
We did. So you'll have a copy of those MOAs before your meeting. It's with the clerical and DPW Highway Union.
All right.
Okay. You have it as printed in the warrant. The
I don't.
article has a raise and appropriate in it.
Yeah. So we're going to get it to them before. They haven't considered it yet. I think they
But
put
this
it.
is
Is there going to be a raise and appropriate in there?
There shouldn't be, because in fiscal year '25 there isn't. We've incorporated in the budget.
Okay, so it can't be as printed in the warrant then,
Yeah. No.
So-
I think they put a placeholder in it. That's
Yeah, this was supposed to say we'll decide at town meeting or prior to town.
So in other words, if you don't need a raise and appropriate so do we need it? I mean, what is it going to be?
You're gonna need it for 26, 27, because it's a MOA, a 3-year MOA for clerical and.
So there is going to be some funding attached to this.
Yeah, but I guess.
I mean, I don't care.
I guess it's logistics, Jay, because if you're covering in fiscal year '25, we planned for what the amount, now we can say it was 1.5% for fiscal year '25. We're including that in the budget. So I don't know if.
So
the line item
is
for-
it necessary then, if you're not funding it through this, if the funding's already in the budget,
I don't know. I think it's more to be transparent about it.
then tailor the motion accordingly, you know, with said funding being reflected in the,
Yep.
in that, and however you want to draft it. If you want to, I have no problem with it being there. Let's be clear what it is. Okay. This is all pretty straightforward, 5, just standard stuff.
Yep.
Okay, Article 6, I had a question. You'll recall that, I think it was last year when I kind of, during the discussion of this stuff, it looked like as we were going through the line items and the sources, that it was more than just raise and appropriate. And I said, next year, you've got to state what it is.
Yeah, no, I think that was regarding the ambulance billing. That was last year, so we incorporated into the fiscal.
There was
year
also
25.
some, I think, free cash too last year, or there was something last year. It wasn't just raise and appropriate. So this, you have it, again, and it's fine with me, as 100% raise and appropriate. If there's other sources, I don't care how you break it down, you have to identify them in the motion.
Yep.
So it's all, I doubt it's all taxation.
Yep. ARPA
But
free cash.
if you're pulling some, sometimes you pull some out of the enterprise funds or
Yep.
whatever, I don't care.
Okay.
Just it kind of was, I let it go last year. Let's make sure we know what
Yeah,
the
let's clean
sources
up
are
and
this year.
correct it.
Okay.
David, Tom and I will do that because we obviously know the sources and send it
It's going
on.
to be raise and appropriate, and then
Give
the free cash,
Give ARPA.
and then the stuff that the school has to do?
School has to do.
The re...
No, we've already voted on that. That's not.
Yeah, I just, if there's other sources, just
Yep.
throw them in the motion.
Okay.
It doesn't, however that shakes out. These numbers match up for 7,
Eight.
for 8. Those are all fine. So 9, we're not doing any
No.
normal or simple capital.
We're not, Article 10, we're gonna have, Jay just heads up, we're gonna have a slide for that. We do have a figure for that. So we do know, we're gonna modify this motion for this group. But
Okay.
we'll have a slide for that as well.
Okay, I'd like to have that.
Yep.
And,
So this will have the number?
Yep, 465. I think we gave that to you guys.
okay. And how many, is it a long list?
It's just one item.
Okay, all right. And it is going, and what's the source?
Ambulance billing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Article 11, pretty straightforward. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do a consent. I normally don't bother here, just because there's only 3 or 4 items, and people just, or get through it quickly anyway. When I look at the final motions, if there's 4 or 5, and I anticipate debate on anything else, I might lump a few things in a consent, but it just hasn't seemed necessary in recent years, not since COVID anyway. Like things like Article 12, which we don't even need,
Yeah.
but it's fine, so. Okay, so,
Do you want to put the MBTA one before committee reports?
I think so. It's either just before or just after it. So do we know if anyone is doing committee reports?
Yes, and actually we have one representative who has a question about that. The Fire Station Building Committee is going to give a report, as well as the Norfolk School Building Committee is going to give a report, or would like to give a report. I checked with Andy, there's no Energy Committee report this year. But they did have a question in terms of how much time, in terms of the School Building Committee, how much time you want to allocate to them. And Vicky Saldana is here on behalf of the
Hi.
school staff.
Aye.
Yeah, we're just wondering like what the language is, we can give them some parameters. It would probably be our 2 school committee members, Amador Champagne and Grace Lockhart, that would be presenting on behalf.
Is it just an oral presentation, or is it or are there slides, or?
We do have some slides, but we can keep it as concise as you tell us to, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to press you for time, but if you could target 5 minutes, and if it ends up, being between 5 and 10,
Yep.
then so be it. I think it's an important issue that we should be thinking about, so I don't mind giving you the time to prep town meeting for it, but I'd like to keep things moving. Where we put the MBTA, I almost think that might be a good place after that, so we don't come out of a long debate. It'd be good to have these folks have a captive audience for their reports, and then maybe do it right there. Does that, anyone have an objection to that? No. So, yeah. No. I mean, I'll probably just mention it in my introductory remarks.
So after 13.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll get to it in a second too.
Yep.
So, thank you for that. I think it's a better way to do it.
Heads up on that one too, we do have to edit their motion. We just have to put in their retained earnings and the amount, and we'll make
Right,
that change.
because it doesn't have the numbers in the
Yep.
article.
Yep.
So,
So we'll do that, and we'll send it off to David and you guys.
okay. Article 15, is there, someone, who's going to be the person that's going to talk about this? Because there'll be a few questions on it. I think it should be fine, but,
I think it will be a couple of, but we're going to try to keep it with Tom and myself if necessary. I like to keep it kind of
Okay.
Close.
And do you need anything, or is it just you're gonna get up and chat about it? So you all will make a motion and a recommendation on it, and then I'll go straight to you, and if Tom wants to
Yeah.
chime in.
I think Tom will probably take the lead on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I need a slide or anything like
No,
that.
we're not planning slides or anything for
Okay,
it.
yeah, just a good explanation, because there's probably some misinformation on it. It's really just just to make it a little more feasible what you want to do. And what I won't do, despite how I might feel about the subject or others, I'm not getting into a debate as to whether peeling back and going to history, whether this was a good idea or a bad idea. This is about accounting, as far as I'm concerned, and that's where we're going to keep it. So I'll stick to that kind of high-level review of this, and I'm not going to let people criticize a decision that we made years ago. So, and I think I was saying that last year too, when this debate came up.
Just to let you know, our comments point out the uniqueness of this statute.
Well,
This is something that has not, as far as we can tell, been done anywhere else in the Commonwealth. Allowing for, just to let you know.
trailblazers, love it.
Just to let you know.
Hey, if it helps it function a little bit better, then fine. I'm not. That's a policy question, and it obviously doesn't function that well right now. So, if it helps out, great. But I leave that to you all. So, okay. 16 is the basics for CPA. 16 and 17.
Yeah.
So if I was doing a consent agenda, I'd tuck those both in there as well. They normally get approved in 2 seconds, so I'm not super worried about that. Those numbers are accurate, though, to print it, to move as printed in the warrant?
Yes.
Okay. 18, pretty, our standard thing. Sue, are you guys on the trust talking about anything about the affordable housing stuff, or no?
No, we're gonna let the MBTA communities
Okay,
article
okay.
take over that.
If people have questions about what the trust has been up to?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, will that be you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Mirror Lake is 19. That's being IP'd?
Yes.
Why is that? Not that, just so I know in case.
We're not ready.
Okay.
Rentham pays the bulk of it. Rentham's not doing it this spring.
Whose recommendation for IP is it?
Ours.
But what's the CPC think about it?
I think they've agreed with us. They originally proposed.
Can we
it.
find that out
Yeah,
for sure? Because if not,
Came to our meeting, and both meetings, 3 times we talked about this.
all right, so I'd like to know, because they're a unique sponsor under the statute, if they wanted to do a positive motion, an affirmative motion, I would let them make the first motion. If they're fine to let it go, then we'll go with IP for you.
All right.
Okay, so. Who's the head of the CPC right now?
Cindy?
So, yeah, I mean, maybe just email her and
Yep.
copy me on that.
Yep.
So, because if they felt strongly they wanted to do it, I'd let Cindy make that motion.
Sure.
20. Any controversy on any of this? Sometimes field lights can get a little controversial. Any chatter?
I think the vote was 7-2.
On your end?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some concern about the aesthetics of doing it the way they're proposing to do it, and there's some concerns about neighbors that haven't had lights on the fields for 5 or 6 years.
So we're likely to have a little bit of
Yeah.
discussion. What has the select board, Jim, do they have a view on this?
No.
No? What about, does schools have a view on this at all? On the field lights over there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I have to double check.
Yeah, okay. I just want to kind of have a feel for what kind of discussion we may have. I just see field lights sometimes being a little bit of a lightning rod.
These are lights that exist now. It's just rewiring them. So
Right.
they haven't, they used to be on every Friday night or
Right, I
whatever.
remember
it was,
that.
But they haven't been on
Okay,
for,
that's fine.
since.
I mean, hopefully it
M
goes smooth,
collapsed.
yeah.
Jay, I don't want to answer for my associates. Have you folks heard anything on that? Okay. No, I haven't either. Okay.
Okay. All right, so 21, pretty straightforward, right? It's just irrigation.
Yep.
Pickleball courts, Pond Street. Good thing there's no neighbors, because we would have objections.
There is a neighbor, but I think it's far enough away that they can
Okay.
hear it, so.
Any, I mean, totally
There's a
fine.
general dissatisfaction with the game of pickleball amongst some of the advisory committee members, but not to the point where we're going to make us think about it.
Okay.
It was a philosophical concern more than anything else.
I get
They
it.
played the game.
Funny.
I just heard this morning that paddle tennis is now resurging to replace pickleball, so maybe we'll
There
be
we
doing
go.
paddleball
Great.
courts in a few years.
My guess is that, given how popular it is, that this could end up being some recreation
I
department
don't
may
doubt
find
it.
some revenue here. Okay,
Maybe we
great.
can host a professional.
I bet there's going to be some comments on this, but I expect it should be pretty mild.
The philosophical opposition will remain quiet, so
That's fine.
it's me. and one
We'll
of
see.
our-
We'll see about
another
that.
member.
Right. Okay. Town Hill stuff. I think I asked the question as to whether or not this was characterized as either
Historic
open
or
space. or-
Yeah, they,
I don't really care that much, but if someone asked.
open space.
Okay,
And
great.
they went before the CPC, the Preservation Coalition, they double-checked it, and I double-checked it, so presented as open space.
I think
It could go
either
or,
could
yeah.
be fine, frankly, so.
Never mind.
24, these are pretty standard tools at this point. Any discussion on that from the municipal perspective on this? Jim, did you all have are you all supporting 24?
We are very definitely supporting 24.
All right,
Yep.
good. I would assume so. I just want to make sure. Some folks don't love this, so.
No, this is our idea. We're trying to establish a capital fund.
Good.
For field replacement and roofs and things of that nature, and we want to do it through a stabilization.
Great, perfect.
Just for prepping and planning purposes, I did hear yesterday from my fellow town administrators. They're a little, just in case there is a conversation in town meeting, just so we're looping everyone in, they are a little concerned about implementing the stabilization fund. They're worried about E&D being put in there. I think we're going to have a meeting and talk about it a little bit further. So that was late breaking yesterday.
Well,
Some of our fellow, I
Just
could
let
totally
people-
see that from some of the other
Absolutely.
select
You-
boards in the
you-
tri-town.
It was raised
So
by a
I'm sure
couple of
that
our
doesn't come as a
members.
surprise to you,
No, it
Jim.
doesn't.
No.
It was raised by a couple of our members, too, is that,
What were the concerns?
I'm going to paraphrase, but it's, you've got a little E&D, you put it into the stabilization fund, and then you get to ask for more tax revenues next year.
Yeah, it's just losing control of funds because they can include it in the assessment
Yeah.
rather than asking for, it's just a
You
loss of
lock
control,
it
right?
up rather than keeping it.
Well, it's always a loss of control to some degree. You and I both know that, Jay.
Yeah.
But
But it's good governance. so.
this is good governance.
No, it is, yeah.
This is designed as a sole purpose. It won't be funded this year, obviously, because it hasn't been established. So there's no funding coming from the school going into this account. We just want to establish it
Right.
for future opportunities to fund it.
Okay. 25, which is now 13, 14?
14.
So what's the, Rich, what's the, Chad has a big flowery speech planned for this, or what's, what's the approach from you all? Because, I mean, we're going to get a motion, a quick recommendation from the advisory committee, and then I'm going to turn it over to one of you.
So we're going to go into a 30-minute presentation. We're going to have a handout. So we're going to have a handout that we'll provide with a few slides.
Yep.
And we will then have those slides available to put up We'll keep them very brief, condensed to the point, and we'll give a quick overview of why we need to do this and what it impacts, like the overlay. We'll show the overlay graphic, and here's the end result of what it really changes.
And that slide presentation will be test run Thursday night at the public hearing for the revisions to the MBTA zoning, May 2nd, and then May 9th will be the public forum. That same slide presentation, and so if you attend and you think it needs a little bit shrinking.
It's a big deal, so, obviously, we're not doing 30 minutes if we don't have to, but I want everyone to be well-informed of what we're doing
Yes.
here. So when you get your slideshow kind of down to what you want, I would like to see it,
Yes.
just so I know what we're dealing with, and if, I'd like a copy of it, just for my town meeting book. And if there's any other speakers besides you two, just kind of let me know.
Should just be us.
That's fine. And both of you would be answering the questions, I'm assuming? Okay.
Well, we might defer to Sue on some of the housing trust, but.
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
So really it'd be the three of us, but for the most part, the two of us, and loop Sue in when needed.
Okay. Just so folks know what we're going to debate and what we're not going to debate, I might allow a short comment from someone that says, damn the state for ramming this down our throat, but that's it. I am not going to let town meeting debate what is an existing state statute. If people want to vote their ire over that statute, that's fine, but we're here to discuss the bylaw. So I'm going to let a little of that go, but if it's going to get really repetitive really quickly, and then I'm going to shut that down. Then I want people to talk about what's actually in here. So,
Sounds good.
yeah, I was at a town meeting that debated the Milton case for about 45 minutes yesterday, and I was trying to get the moderator to shut it down, and unsuccessfully. Okay, good. If there's anything else that you need or you want to run by town meeting, just let us know. Obviously, communicate with Justin in terms of what you're presenting on the table so that we all know what's going on. It's obviously probably the biggest thing on the warrant, so I want it to go smoothly for you all.
Yes.
Okay.
And I presume you'll let people know it's a majority vote?
Yeah. I mean, I will, sure, but I mean, it's there, so, but yes, I will.
Because it's zoning, just
Yeah,
maybe.
that's fine. Does the select board want to be recognized on this to give a recommendation?
We have not, I can't speak for the board because we haven't made that decision, but I don't think there's any opposition to this that I'm aware of.
Okay, so I won't call, I mean, I'm perfectly happy to.
Personally, I am not opposed to this at all, supportive of the article, but I can't speak for my,
If you want to give your recommendation, I
Chad may
might.
be in a position to speak for both, and, you never
Right.
know.
I may want
you get two votes.
to note that before we get into the presentation or just after we do the presentation, because I think it would be helpful to the debate to know which.
We have a
way-
meeting beforehand,
Yes.
so we can.
It's fine.
I'm happy to say something.
It's fine, you don't have to tell me now, I just want to find a spot for you, like a prominent spot, because I think the select board's position on this is important as well. Okay, and if anyone else, like if the trust or anyone else wants to make a formal position known on this, I'm happy to give time at the mic for that as well.
I mean, I will speak to it if you want. I mean, if necessary.
You will speak to an article, just kind of?
Just for the hell of it, sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Okay. You guys decide, and I'll slot you in wherever. It's weird, because you're usually so quiet at town.
Touche.
Would there be a benefit to having Sue speak to it for a little bit?
I'm going to leave that to you all, okay? How you want to structure that, that's fine. I just think that
We could talk about that.
if boards and commissions have an official position, even if it was like CPC or anyone else on this, then I think it's great.
Great.
I'd like to get that out there, so.
That's a good point. We probably should speak to this, yeah. Yeah, I think we should.
Tom, she probably won't do it until the the day of, but we're getting emails the day of or the day before from Margaret Hurley, just knowing where things stand on stuff and if she can be of help. I was texting with her during the Winchester meeting because there was an amendment that was kind of a disaster. So,
Okay.
you know, if she has
Yeah.
anything to report on anything, let us know. It looked all fine to me, so.
Okay, all right, yeah, I've been in about the weekly communication with her, so I'll ping her right before the meeting just to make
Okay.
sure I have the latest.
Right.
And just to know, she did look at this version already.
No, she's been terrific,
Yeah.
you know, so if you hear of an amendment, then it's important to convey that to her. Like some folks, we're hearing through the woodwork that some people are opposing amendments. As to amendments, if it's anything, because you don't have your consultant present, if it's anything that could potentially have an impact on the compliance model, the number of units, the land area, anything like that, then, you know, find a way to let me know,
Okay.
because I want to let town meeting know. It would be within scope, and I would allow the amendment, because I have to, and this was, as Tom knows, I think this was discussed with the AG, but I want to point out to folks that they would put us out of compliance with our requirements under the statute, and that might be enough to dissuade folks from an amendment that is a poison pill, so to speak. So I'm going to rely
Run to the
on you all for that. So, okay, great.
Okay,
26, pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
27, anything here on 27 that I should be aware of? I mean, it seems pretty, I've seen this in a bunch of places. I kind of take the position that 272.15 is probably not enforceable as a matter of law, but I've seen the same provision a dozen times, so you're not going to hear it from
I
me.
agree with you, Jay. I don't know if we're going to be able to use it, but it's in a lot of the other ones, so why not?
Yeah, the AG is approving it, so, fine, okay. 28, also pretty straightforward. Any discussion on that? Is anyone going to speak to, by the way, 27 at all?
We'll have our DPW director there.
Okay,
Yeah, and we can speak to it as well,
okay.
if necessary.
Same thing, 28, anyone?
DPW. will
Okay.
do the next, those three are DPW.
Okay, great. That's it.
That's it.
If you hear of anyone else that wants to do a committee report, let me know. Anyone have anything else?
Yes, it was really clear at the last town meeting that people wanted printed copies, so I think anything we put on the screen, we should have available in print. Even if it's just like the transfer monies, I think we should have that in print. That came out really loud and clear.
Yeah, I agree.
In big print.
So much for saving paper.
No, this isn't the time to save paper.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Also,
We should recycle what's left.
Also logistics for now, we've put on the front screen, annual town meeting, we put every single thing that we've got on there in advance, weeks in advance, and we'll keep those updated things there, but we'll also provide some printed copies as well.
Of anything.
Yeah.
Any, I'm going to need the list of anyone who's passed.
Yep. Yep.
If you could get it, Judith normally puts that together. I think there's a few notables there for sure.
Yeah, we'll get that too.
Thelma.
Yeah,
Some others.
yeah.
Any celebrants or anything like that? Are you honoring anyone? Any of the select board have anyone that they want to acknowledge at all?
I would say no.
Okay. Aside from maybe thanking Kevin for his service?
Not necessary. And we won't be doing that.
Good luck with that. Okay, so let me know, Jim, if you have anything you want to do. I'll do that before we get started, if you have anything or anyone you want to
Do only
recognize.
one thing,
Okay, so, all right, let me know.
one thing,
Okay.
whether he likes it or not.
All right, okay, fair. All right, so that's it. You know, we got 2 weeks and a day, so let me know if anything comes up. We'll dodge and weave and do whatever. If you hear of any amendments or anything wacky coming out about the MBTA stuff, let me know, because I'd like to stay on top of that.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. And so we have a few motions to work on. You'll get me those as you do some drafting there?
Yeah, we'll do some edits. I'll check with Tom, and we'll get it done this week.
Okay. All right. I'm not worried. I just want to have them as early as I can, so.
I'll send it to David in the group, just so they're in the
And
loop.
I will, at any time you feel appropriate,
Thanks, Jay.
Okay. I'll let you know. Sure.
just let me, you take the spot.
Thanks, everyone online.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom
You
and
take
Andrew.
the spot, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We'll do it right out of the gate, right
Okay.
after I give
Yeah, I
my
basically,
my
we're
introduction.
not doing it.